Okay.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? It's me
Hey.
and What's going on, brother?
Hey.
Okay, so
So you
we're
were
talking
gonna,
numbers.
yeah, you were gonna show me something, right?
Yes. Okay, let's start at the very beginning, right? Most
Right.
people want to know where stuff comes from. Okay, what day was man created per Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2?
6.
Day 6. So the number of man is 6.
Right.
So that's just something right up front we see. All right. That's obvious, right? When you open the book at the
Hmm.
very get. Well, we know in Revelation, it talks about this. In the book of Revelation, it says, let him who has wisdom,
Right.
let him who has wisdom.
The seed.
You know, right. You have to know also the wisdom per Margaret Barker suggests that the wisdom is the feminine divine. So this is why you hear like
Yeah, it's the bottom
in
half, the mater.
right the wisdom, and so
Yeah.
it cries from the rooftops. It's
Right.
always referenced as a female.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, well,
let
wisdom starts at the bottom, at the winter solstice, and it grows up into understanding at the top of the summer solstice,
Mm,
and where it's fully established, because
interesting.
wisdom in
See,
Deuteronomy is to discern your latter end. If they were wise, they would discern their latter end.
right,
So at nighttime, you have to have wisdom to know that the sun's going to expose what's in the darkness.
right.
Right. Right.
Now I know. It says calculate.
Right.
Anytime you hear that, I mean, dude, it's pretty clear. It's saying calculate.
Right.
So I've been doing numbers. I'm trying to find these references to numbers all throughout the Bible. You know, 6, 9, 12, 18, 36, 72, 144, 153, 276, 273, 430, 420,
Yeah.
360, 65. You know, and there's these are all scientific numbers. These aren't, I mean, these are numbers that are triangular numbers. These are geometric numbers. They're sacred
Yeah.
geometry,
Yeah.
all this
Their
stuff. And so,
great year. Is that some of that?
well, the great years tied in with a lot of this. Yes, like 72. It takes 72 years for the Earth on its wobble to move 1 degree of precession. So
Yeah.
that's 72 years, one
Right.
degree of
Yeah.
precession. Or another way of looking at it is Saturn is 72 times the volume of Earth. Or
Hmm.
another way of looking at it is the moon is 72 times less the mass of the
Wow.
Earth.
Hmm.
Yes. So now you're talking numbers. You see why I'm saying this is super important?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why Confucius had 72 disciples. And if you
Right.
go to Indonesia today and you go to the largest Buddhist temple, there are
Right.
72 Buddha statues, you know,
Right.
and on and on and on you can go. I mean, you really
Yeah.
can go on and on and on, but
Yeah.
that's number.
It's one
The
degree.
diameter,
Yeah. One
yep.
degree.
So the diameter of Stonehenge, 72 feet.
Right.
Okay, so hold on. Like, really? What? So Jesus sent forth 72 disciples, Luke chapter 10.
Hmm.
And on and on. So 666 is an evil number, you know? It's the
Right.
evil number. Well, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot more superstition attached to it than what it is. But
Right.
I
Hmm.
mean, it still has its significance when dealing with man,
Yeah.
obviously. An example you heard Luther brings out 46 in the show that he did with me. Luther talks about the number 46. The alphanumeric or gematria of Adam,
Yeah.
ADAM, is the number 46.
Right. Right. That's what
Uh,
it was. Yeah.
yep, it's Adam Alpha 1, uh, Delta is 4, I believe. Alpha's 1,
Hmm.
and then Mule, whatever, is 40. So you
Right.
have 1, 4, 1, 40, and it's 46. And
Right.
then it's interesting, Jesus comes along arguing with the Pharisees in the story,
Right.
and sure enough, he's like, tear down this temple and I
Right.
will rebuild it in 3 days. What? It took us 46
Oh wow,
years
yeah. Never
to
thought of.
build this temple.
Right.
You see how beautiful this is with the numbers? And it's
Right.
like, oh, Adam, duh.
Yeah, yeah,
It's Adam that is built up.
yeah. It's
And
the Temple of
Jesus is
Adam.
saying,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's just 3 days. Jesus said, I'll build it up. So,
yeah. Adam's a very Gnostic word, has a lot in that word.
oh, and the literal approach, I told Luther this, the literal approach is becoming weaker by the second.
Yeah,
This is so off. I mean, it's awesome, really, to
yeah.
find this stuff out because it really is beautiful. I mean, the literal historical approach is not the approach the authors intended,
Right.
and it's the weakest case you can make. So
Hmm.
anyway, 666. I just wanted to do a little funny tool with you. You
Sure.
got, and this number is not original to the Book of Revelation. This
Right.
is something just like the 153 fish. These are things that go before the Bible, before the New Testament. Okay,
Right.
we can dispute the Old Testament too. Some of that stuff's new too. But anyway,
Hmm.
Pythagoras used a lot of these numbers, or Pythagorean follower, people who were like Pythagoras, who
Hmm.
thought in this
Hmm.
mathematical and philosophical way.
Right.
So 666, right?
Yeah.
That's the three digits of 666. This is not only a triangular number, but this is also a 9 number. Again, like we talked about with 153,
Yeah.
144, 72, 18, 36, 288, you name
Yeah.
it, it's a
Yeah.
9 number.
Yeah.
And how do I know that? Well, 6 plus 6 plus
18.
6,
Hmm.
18, 1 plus 8, 9.
Yeah.
Now, 666, the way that a lot of them also express it, here's something that you probably never heard, I think you'll like, and your audience will like. 200, or okay, when we have later gospels or later books of Revelation that describe the beast number not 666,
Right.
but 616.
Okay.
Okay, and why is it 616? One might say because the gematria in Latin calculates the same numerical value of Nero in Latin.
Huh.
So later, when we find Latin manuscripts that go 616,
Right.
not 666, this is why, and that may be the case. But there's also something else to look at. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. If you write that down, that is 216 instead of 616.
Wow. Yeah.
It's 216. Why is 216 important? Well, 216 feet is 144 cubits.
Wow.
So 144,000. Okay, and so it all ties together. 144 cubits is 216 feet.
Right.
216 is 6 times 6 times 6. Now,
Right. Right.
getting into something else too, though, this is another number, 648, and that's an important number. But that's 6 cubed plus 6 cubed plus 6 cubed, so 6 to the third power, which is 216 plus 216 plus 216. That's 648.
Okay.
Now, the biggest thing I wanted you to see, you got your calculator?
Yeah, I got it here on my
Okay.
Firefox.
I want you to add the digits like we did with the 153 fish.
Yeah.
1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way up to 36.
Well, that's gonna take a little while. Okay, I got it on my screen though here. So 1, okay, plus 2 plus 3, all the way up to 36.
Right. So you see how long that took? I'm going to go ahead and show you my sloppy handwriting.
Oh well, I can't really see it on my screen to be honest. Yeah, that's
At the
pretty
top.
blurry. Okay, yeah, I can.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but you see how it equals out
Yeah.
to 666?
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah. All you have to do is add the numbers sequentially up to 36. 1
Right.
plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19 plus 20, all the way up to 36.
Right.
And it's 666.
Wow.
And if you think this number is just placed here to represent the beast. And whatever you think that might be as a modern historical person looking at this text, you're sadly mistaken because you are missing so much valuable information.
Right.
For example, take and now calculate this on your screen because they
Okay.
need to see this.
Yeah.
The diameter, now the way it works, all right, everything is not, there's not an absolute perfect number to measuring certain things because, like, for example, the earth fluctuates. It's
Yeah.
the equator is not always exactly the same length and distance. But anyway, the same thing goes for the sun. There's contraction and expanding that takes place. There's distances that change while
Right.
things take place. But nonetheless, the diameter of the sun
Hmm.
is 864,000
Right.
miles. Okay, so type in 864,000.
Okay.
All right, now divide 864,000 by 216.
Okay. 4,000. Got it on here.
864,000 by 216?
Divided by 216, right? It's
Yeah.
4,000.
Okay. So now 864,000, divide that by 144,000, and you have 6. Okay? That's 6 144,000s goes into the diameter of the sun. But if you take, let's see, take 144,000, which is the how many Israelites were raptured,
Right.
if you will, or saved or whatnot.
Right.
Divide that by 216.
Okay. 144,000 divided by 216. 666.666.
0.6666667, right? Or whatever.
Yeah. Infinity.
Okay.
To infinity.
Right. So that's now if you divide it the opposite direction and just say 144,000 divided by 666, you get 216.216,
Huh.
You know, it's this
Hmm.
number is very, very important, bro. Um,
Wow.
let's see. 72, like I talked about with 72. 72 is half 144. And we talked about Jesus sent forth his disciples, 72 of them.
Right.
Confucius had 72, Buddha,
Yeah.
and on and on. In fact, there's a story in the Old Testament. I got it written down here because I'm finding the stories how they parallel to these numbers. And in Numbers, in the book of Numbers,
Right.
chapter 11, verses 25 through 26, there were 70 ancients that
Right.
received the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. And there were plus 2 that were absent back at the camp, Eldad and Medad.
Right.
There were 70 ancients that received it. 2 were missing. 72.
Huh.
Okay? Yeah, it's all there, man. Everything is saying the same thing over and over. But I say that to say 72 times 3. Type
Right.
that in your thingy.
Okay. 72 times 3.
Mm-hmm.
216. Wow.
Well, that's the diameter of the moon. So the diameter of the moon is 2,160 miles.
Okay.
Yeah. And also 216 feet equals 144 cubits.
Right.
Now, this is cool, but 72 plus 72, or 72 times 2, is 144. Okay?
Right. Right.
Add 72 to 144, which is the amount of Israelites that are saved, and you got 216.
Right.
So
Wow.
216 is a sacred number. It's a divine mathematics. So these guys knew what they were doing.
So this is like 3 degrees of the great year. Would be
Right.
216 years.
In fact, 3 degrees, if you will, technically, of the great circle, it would be one portion of your pie. It's almost completing. So we know there's 2,160 years in an age approximate. I mean, that's give or take, and I
Right.
only say that because
Right.
it may
Right.
vary how long it gets
Wow.
from one house to
Wow.
another.
let me just
Yeah,
say
so two,
this. Let me just,
yeah.
in Numbers, the book of Numbers, at the end of the book, it talks about the cities of refuge, and he says there's three cities of refuge on one side of the Jordan, and there's three cities of refuge on the other side of the Jordan.
Huh.
So if you divide one of those signs of the zodiac into three, right? You're
Yeah,
saying that's 72.
right.
So each one is a city. So you got three cities on one side, and again the Milky Way goes is on the gate between Sagittarius and Taurus, or
Right.
is on the gate between Taurus and Gemini, and is on the gate between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So it divides the zodiac in
I
half.
yes.
So you
I
got
love
a city of refuge on each side. So anyway, I just thought,
it. Oh, snap. That's funny,
mm,
man.
yeah,
Look, I mean, here's another thing. 216, right? We talk
right,
about how this splits up. 2 plus 1 plus 6
right,
is a
nine,
9.
yeah, wow,
Wow. Look, let me take you through something real quick. This is cool, man.
right,
So, we know that a year is how many days?
365,
Right. Okay. How did we come up with that? There were
right,
two calendars in the ancient world, your holy calendar and your regular calendar. The regular calendar has 365 days. The holy calendar had 360,
right,
which represents a
yeah,
circle.
yeah,
Okay, so now we're talking geometry for just a second, but it's not just exclusive. The problem with modern day thinkers, and
right,
even I do it, you do it, we all do it. The ancient peoples were
right,
educated in arithmetic, music.
yeah,
They were in all the fields of science that were important. So these numbers did not just fit into, oh, the subject of math,
no,
oh, the subject of language. No, 216 was a mathematical, linguistic, musical, astrological,
right,
everything. They
yeah,
were brilliant.
yeah,
And people say they were dumb.
yeah,
They're dumb for thinking that they're dumb. In fact,
yeah,
they're just ignorant. That's all it is.
right,
But so you've got the circle. How many degrees are in a circle?
360. So the Egyptians had the 5 evil days.
Well, yes, and we're going to get to those five and why that's important in just a second.
Right,
So 360,
yeah,
that's a full circle, which is where we get our 360-day year.
yeah,
And as we would say, the Earth rotates around the sun 360 days or
right,
365. But
yeah,
anyway, full circle 360. Divide 360 real quick, if you will,
right,
on your calculator.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Divide 360 by 72.
5. What?
Saturn, like I talked about,
Hmm.
Saturn was Kronos, the
Right,
timekeeper.
yeah,
Okay, he was the timekeeper. He was 72 times the not the mass, but the volume of Earth.
right,
He's Kronos, the timekeeper, Saturn.
right,
Anyway, that's a whole different talk. But 365 comes from this science, 72, and how it deals with the precession. I
right,
think the reason we have those years that have the additional days has
right,
to do with the wobble on our axis. But anywho,
right.
360, 3 plus 6 plus 0 is,
9. Yeah.
huh? What's a half circle? How
Uh,
many degrees?
how many degrees? Well, that would
Yeah,
be
like
half
so,
of 360.
which is
Um, 130. Right.
80.
180. Sorry, yeah, 180.
180.
Sorry.
Half circle, like, hey, he did a 180.
Yeah,
1
that's
plus
9.
8 plus 0 is
It's 9.
9.
Yeah,
Split that in half. So now you got a right angle. It's 90 degrees.
90. Yeah,
9 plus 0.
9.
All right. Split that in half and you have a 45 degrees. 4 plus 5.
9. Wow. Yeah,
Split that in half and you have 22.50 degrees. 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 0.
9.
That in half and you have 11.25 degrees. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4 plus
Right.
5, 9.
9.
Split that in half and you have 5.625 degrees. 5 plus 6 plus 2 plus 5 is 18 Derek, it doesn't go to 9. Double digits. So now you have 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 is so important.
Yeah.
9 is important, bro. I'm telling you. And it's in everything.
Yeah. It's a number of the circle. It's a number of the circle. And it's right. It's a number of consciousness, because 2 cycles of the zodiac would be being reborn. Mm-hmm. So the great year was thought to have 2 cycles through the zodiac. And so the first cycle, and then of course there's the new heaven and the new earth in each of these great years. Yeah. Because Jesus even talks about you can't put new wine into an old wineskin, so it's a new earth. So you have a new heaven and a new earth. Right. So I was just putting that together. Yeah. I just wanted to say that.
No, yeah. There's so much esoteric stuff that ties into these things that we're talking about. Right. Look, if you take the 360 circle and you multiply that by 2, you got a 720 degree object. 72. Yeah. Okay, again, 720, but 720. Multiply that by 2, 1,440. Right. Which is a 144, and it's 9. But interesting thing about the 1440, if you Google how many minutes are in 24 hours, there's 1,440 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
that's amazing.
Okay, hold on. And then there's 86,400 seconds in 24 hours, which the diameter of the sun is 864,000.
And wasn't that the number of Israelites or something?
I want to Google. I mean, look.
864,000. I'm pretty sure that's in the numbers somewhere. 804,000. I got to find the Bible verse for that.
Hold on. Not be 864,000, but it could be anything with 864. Period. It is going to be good.
Maybe it was 86,400 or something.
Yeah, it might be.
Because that's the number of seconds in a day, right?
Yep.
Anyway, I think Bill Donahue was talking about that, and he points out this verse in one of his videos where he says that there's 86,400 Israelites if you add up all the tribes of Israel.
Huh.
So I don't know if we have to do some math or if that number is actually plainly written.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I think Exodus 1 to 10 or something here.
I'm going to do 864. Just 864. That's all you really need. Mm-hmm. I hate that. I'll look something up and I'll be like 864 in the Bible, and they'll be like in verse 8 or in chapter 8 verse 64, and I'm like, no, I want the number 864 in the Bible if it's there.
Right.
I do know you might like this. This is comparative between, let me see, where's it at? It's between the Sumerian books and okay, it's Joseph Campbell. You know Joseph Campbell, the famous mythology guy who dealt with the hero story. Have you heard of him?
Joseph Campbell?
Yeah, Joseph Campbell is a classical. I mean, he's a classic guy. He actually found that there's a theme, a story in all of the world's religions, and it's the same story at core. And the core is it's the hero's journey. Right. It's always about a hero. He's born, and then he goes through the struggle or something, and he saves his people, and then he dies a horrific death of some sort, or sacrifices himself in some way, shape, or form for his people, persecuted something, and then boom, something good happens in the end.
Right.
Well, that story is still used today in Hollywood. It's still used today in Disney World, Disneyland, you name it. The cartoons, anyone who's successful is using that story because it's worked forever with humans.
Right.
he says in his book, The Inner Reaches of Outer Space, he writes about the similarity between the Babylonian and Genesis flood stories. In the Babylonian or Sumerian story, there were 10 kings who lived very long lives from creation to the time of the flood. This is given as a total of
I found it.
432,000 years.
Sorry.
What?
I found the Numbers chapter 2, verse 9. All those listed of the camp of Judah by their camp companies were 186,400. They shall set our first on the march. On the south side shall be the standard of the camp, blah, 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 blah. And verse before that, it says his company as listed being 57,400.
Hold
Or,
on, hold on, hold that,
they
hold that idea.
So they got all these numbers here that seem to be lining up a little bit with what you're
You
saying.
said 186,000?
Yeah, 186,400. So maybe yours was a bit bigger of a number. I don't know.
Yeah, it was 864,000. But
Okay.
I'm looking at the number. It's kind of funny how you've got 864 in the same number with the one on the end.
Yeah, it's a factor of 100,000 on top of that or whatever.
Yeah, because it's like 100,000 and 86,400. It's almost like, yeah, it's like just factoring an additional. It's kind of hidden in there though. That's quite interesting. I'm actually, where's that at?
Numbers chapter 2, verse 9.
Okay, Numbers chapter 2, verse 9. Well, go figure it'd be in the Numbers section.
Yeah.
Let me do this.
Anyway, I have to watch Bill Donahue's videos and try to find that again. But
864.
maybe that was like distance to the sun or something.
Okay, Numbers what? Sorry.
Numbers chapter 2, verse 9.
Okay, thank you. All right. So yeah. Anyway, Joseph Campbell actually compares these two. I'll send you the link. We don't have to talk about it now, but he says the king's list of their ages, and the total list is 432,000 years. Multiply that by 2.
Okay.
You get 864,000.
Oh, really?
And that's Babylonian. Yeah, and,
Right.
and you can go with the Bibles. The total years.
Oh, that's the speed of light. 186,400 miles per second.
No way.
Yeah.
Is that Google? Google?
Yeah, you just Google it, and that's the speed of light. So that's what
Really?
Bill Donahue was pointing out. He was talking about how did these ancients know the speed of light? Because because I have this number.
Snap.
And Jesus says, I'm the light of the world, and it's this tribe of Judah, right? He's from the line from the tribe of Judah. So I was like, wow, because there's 6,400 or Israelites or whatever in Judah there.
Right. Jeez. Wow. I am glad you caught that. So and look, even if 186,400 is a magnitude of 100,000 more, I'm finding that, like, kind of like what we talked about with the number 72, it's still a factor of 9. Well, when you look at the 720, you're adding an amplified, 0 there. But these numbers calculate like there's 86,400 seconds in a day. The diameter of the sun is 864,000 miles.
Right.
So the magnitude changes, the numbers are somewhat similar, and it's just different magnitudes.
And Randall Carlson in his Great Year series explains how we got our mile, and it's basically 1,000 paces or 2,000 paces or something,
right?
of the human, right? So it's all based on the human body measurements. That's where like some of these numbers come from. So it's not like it's scientific, right? As we're saying,
right?
It's not like they just made this stuff up and it's just random numbers. So
right,
because we read this as like a history book, and they probably counted all those people, No. This is
Dude,
represents
by the time you
something.
get done counting them in that time, someone's already had a baby. So it's
Yeah,
like, hold on, we
exactly.
gotta go back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then three people died. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, hold on.
Yeah. You gotta count
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, let's start over
No.
because I think
Oh,
Grandpa Louie just passed on and
right.
Sister Sally just popped out three triplets. Oh
Right.
man, what's going
Yeah. No, no.
on? Oh man.
And I'd be interested in how, in comparing that to this hierarchy that Moses set up, or ecclesiastical structure, where he would give commands to these elite, and then they would give commands to those below them,
Mhm.
and how that would relate maybe to the pyramids, and because I know, like Santos talks about the different parts of the pyramids are male and female, and and then the numerology behind that, because the pyramids, uh, in Graham Hancock's video, he does this simple math, and he ties, is it like 432,000, or is it something like that? Or no,
It
no,
might be.
it's something with the 432 in it, and he and he connects that to the Great Year, and he basically
Right.
proves that the pyramids were designed based on this Great Year, and basically the Egyptians knew about pi, and we weren't the Egyptologists hate that because the Egyptians aren't
Yeah,
supposed to have known about pi.
of course.
That's
It
supposed
goes in
to, yeah,
it
and then
flies in the
yeah,
face of it.
yeah,
I'm gonna send you this link here just so that you have it at least.
right,
Let me paste this. Paste this link. This is where did it pop up on your screen?
yeah. It popped up where yours is there. Um, it disappeared, so I don't know where it went now. But
Okay, that's fine. It's in your comment section here.
oh, okay,
But yeah, dude, this is cool.
yeah,
There's so much, Kevin, that you and me are bringing in, and
yeah,
Luther, and I can't wait to hear what Rhett's got to bring in the table. It's just, I'm
yeah,
glad that we got this thing going, bro. Tomorrow
yeah,
night,
yeah,
you were gonna have freaking Dave Matheson showing us the stars and the
yeah,
planets, and
yeah.
dude, he even tells, look, something I never thought about. So you can only imagine the caliber of guy he is in terms of his research
Right.
when he's talking about the jawbone of the ass used
Yeah.
by Samson,
Right.
and how the jawbone of the ass is actually a constellation.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hold on, the jawbone mattered?
Yeah.
Okay, dude,
Yeah.
there's so many levels to this thing.
Right.
Please take me through it one
Yeah.
step at a time because
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah. I think I saw that one too. But yeah, it's I think it's in Taurus. It looks like a jawbone, but
Yep.
it's like the chest of Taurus or something. And of course,
What are we gonna do, man?
yeah. Anyway, so it's like astrotheology is such a broad subject, because again, what are these guys saying who've been studying it for years? Well, they're saying it's behind all these mythologies, all religions, all the fairy tales, all of them. and,
Right.
and this is all comes from zodiac, like Jack and the Beanstalk, blah blah blah. So anyway, I think it's something that is definitely common sense. I know talking to like futurist Christians on Facebook can be difficult
Right.
because
Oh yeah.
they've been trained to think inside their view of the Bible,
Of course.
and
Yeah.
that's, of course, that's where I come from too. So I have sympathy for that. I think it's an important part of everybody's journey. That's where they're at, right? But again, it's important to, again, even the Bible's, I see it more as this Gnostic teaching, but I still hold the fruit of the Spirit as important for anything to grow, because again, it's
Right.
based on the natural world. I think it's important to still have those virtues and ethics, that we should study these things and see how
Well,
psychology works.
let me ask you a question.
Right.
How many fruits of the spirit were there?
Well, not many. I don't know.
There
Like,
was nine. There was nine fruits
oh
of the
really?
spirit, and there's nine gifts of the spirit.
Oh really? Okay.
And did you know that Jesus died on the ninth hour?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I do. I know that.
It's all irrelevant, Derek. These numbers, they don't mean anything. You're just
Yeah,
putting crap together.
yeah,
Okay, sorry guys, me and Kevin aren't
yeah,
going to take this by accident.
yeah,
We get there was relevance to the time of these people. We understand the preteristic tendencies.
yeah.
We understand the tendency to try and suppose, oh, it only has its purpose here and that's it. The
Right.
problem is when you not only see it in the Bible,
Yeah,
because I hear nothing but, oh, this is Israel's story. You're done. Quit putting yourself in it.
right.
Dude, this originally wasn't even Israel's story.
Yeah,
They are taking these stories from other people's stories,
yeah,
made their own little story.
yeah,
And what makes it wrong for us to also say, hey, the wisdom and teaching, the esoteric essence of this deep teaching is what we're also going to apply because they
yeah,
took it from them and them from them.
yeah,
And look, they took it from probably Babylon or from Persia or from Greece to some extent, and they took it from Egypt, and Egypt probably took it from Sumeria or
yeah.
whatever. So it's
Well,
all
yeah.
borrowed.
Well, what I'm actually reading now is that all this astrotheology is in all these different ancient religions and all these different countries, and the Christians and or the Chinese, the Japanese, like the Indians, the Greeks, the whatever you name it. Like, how did they all know about this similar thing, even the archaeoastronomy? So this came
Mhm.
from all this stuff was based on these principles that were handed down thousands of years before that, maybe even 40,000 years ago as we got going.
I
Because
know,
because
right?
and then it would have spread to all these different countries, and then those things like in these in the Egyptian mythologies, it says that they actually found the pyramids. so 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 I'm thinking like it wasn't like just the Egyptians who knew about this. This was before that,
Right.
because it didn't because it wasn't from the Egyptians to the rest of the world. It was before the Egyptians to all these people,
Well, I agree
right?
with you. I mean, let's think about this for a second.
Yeah.
I don't think we just came up with these ideas. I mean,
No.
just looking at ancient megalithic structures that use these calculations. And look, I'm talking numbers, right? And you're speaking astrotheology, which I
Right. Right.
purposely am not speaking the same language as you right now, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to say
Yeah.
the reason why what I'm saying with these numbers is
Right.
they go hand in hand. You
Yeah.
cannot separate astrotheology from all these numbers,
No.
and
No.
they go
Yeah.
together. So
Actually, I process it the same way, as in the same category, in the same
exactly,
paradigm, because it's such a broad paradigm, right?
it is.
So.
It is, bro. Yeah, this is great, man. And
Yeah.
look, the more evidence we can give for astrotheology, the better.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, we'll have
Yeah.
Dave Matheson on. He's going to take us on that journey a little bit, and we'll get more evidence.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for everybody to hear. So,
Yeah. Me too.
yeah, man.
So I think we should maybe end the video there.
Yeah,
We can do part 2 later if we need to. But is it okay if I upload this to my YouTube channel, or do you want to save it for
absolutely.
Waterboard?
No,
Yeah.
man. You
Okay.
just go ahead.
Okay. Sounds
Look, eventually you'll have access to that too, so you can
Yeah.
help upload,
Right.
to the Waterboys and help us out. So
Yeah.
we're gonna keep. And look, this is us, so we're gonna make this thing get
Yeah.
known.
Sure.
And yeah, man, we're just gonna keep talking, keep figuring it out. Hopefully, more people can see the truth in this and
Yeah.
recognize that.
Yeah. Hopefully. Okay.
Hopefully, bro.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Okay. We'll see you
Yep.
later.
All right, brother.
Bye.